My fiancée doubted my future, chose safety, and underestimated my hunger. I stayed quiet, scaled income aggressively, gained authority, rewrote my identity publicly, and turned her decision into humiliation she wasn't prepared to witness. I can't marry someone who refuses to grow up and get a real job. Those words came out of Rebecca's mouth on a Tuesday evening while I was editing a video at our kitchen table. I looked up from my laptop. She was standing in the doorway with her arms crossed, wearing the navy blazer she always wore when she wanted to feel powerful. "We've been together for 4 years," she continued. "I'm 29. You're 31. I want stability. I want a house. I want kids. And you're still playing pretend entrepreneur on YouTube." Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. My channel had 62,000 subscribers at the time. I was making about $4,000 a month. Not enough to impress her, apparently. "I'm building something," I said quietly. She laughed. Not a kind laugh. "Building what? A fantasy?" "My friends ask me what you do, and I'm embarrassed to tell them. Do you know how that feels?" I didn't answer. David got promoted to senior analyst. He's making 6 figures now. Real money. Real career. And I'm here with someone who thinks filming himself talking into a camera is a business plan. David was her coworker. She'd mentioned him more in the past 3 months than she'd mentioned our wedding plans. "I need you to be honest with me," Rebecca said. "Are you ever going to take this seriously? Are you ever going to pursue an actual career?" "This is my career." "No. It's a hobby that makes beer money. I can't build a life on beer money." I closed my laptop. "What do you want me to do?" "I want you to apply for jobs. Real jobs. Corporate positions. Use your degree. You studied finance, for God's sake. You could be making twice what I make by now. I don't want to work in finance. And I don't want to marry someone who's content being mediocre." That word sat between us like a third person in the room. "Mediocre. I think we need to take a break," she said. "A break. I need time to think about whether this relationship has a future. Whether you have a future." She left the apartment 20 minutes later with a suitcase. Said she'd be staying at her sister's place. I sat at that kitchen table until 2 in the morning, staring at my laptop screen. The video I'd been editing was about passive income strategies. Ironic. I didn't cry. I didn't call her. I didn't beg. Instead, I opened a new document and started writing down every revenue stream I'd been too cautious to pursue. Every collaboration I'd turned down because I didn't feel ready. Every product idea I'd shelved because I was afraid of looking too sleazy. By sunrise, I had a list of 43 action items. I gave myself 6 months. The first thing I did was accept a brand deal I'd been sitting on for 3 weeks. $2,500 for a 60-second integration. I'd been hesitating because I wasn't sure the product aligned perfectly with my audience. I stopped caring about perfect. I cared about revenue. The second thing I did was launch a Patreon. I'd resisted it before because it felt like asking for handouts. Now I saw it differently. I offered 3 tiers. $5 for early access, $20 for monthly group calls, $50 for one-on-one consultations. Within 2 weeks, I had 300 patrons, $6,000 a month, recurring. The third thing I did was start saying yes to speaking opportunities. Local business conferences, university panels, startup events. Most paid between $500 and $2,000 per appearance. I booked 8 in the first month. Rebecca texted me after 3 weeks. "Hey, can we talk?" I didn't respond immediately. I was in the middle of filming a video about scaling digital products. I replied 6 hours later. "Sure. What's up? I miss you. I think I was too harsh. Can we meet for coffee? I'm pretty busy this week. Maybe next week." "Okay. Just let me know when you're free." I didn't let her know. I was too focused on building. I hired a video editor. Cost me $1,000 a month, but it freed up 15 hours a week. I used those hours to create a digital course. Financial Freedom Blueprint. From zero to your first 10K month. Priced it at $497. Sold 19 copies in the first week. $9,000 for $143. I reinvested everything into Facebook ads. The course started selling 3 to 5 copies a day. I was making more in a week than I used to make in a month. Rebecca texted again. "I heard you're doing really well. That's amazing. I'm proud of you." I stared at that message for a long time. Proud of me. Not "I'm sorry." Not "I was wrong." Proud. Like she had any right to claim ownership of my success. "Thanks," I replied. Nothing else. Month 3, I got approached by a podcast network. They wanted me to host a weekly show about entrepreneurship and wealth building. $15,000 per episode, guaranteed for 12 episodes. I signed a contract the same day. The podcast launched a month later. Within 6 weeks, it was in the top 50 business podcasts on Apple. Sponsors started reaching out. I was charging $10,000 per sponsorship read. Each episode had 2 sponsors. I also expanded my YouTube content. Started a second channel focused on real estate investing. I didn't own any property yet, but I interviewed people who did. That channel hit 50,000 subscribers in 2 months. Rebecca showed up at my apartment unannounced. It was a Saturday morning. I'd just gotten back from the gym. She was standing outside my door holding coffee and bagels. "Surprise," she said with a smile that looked rehearsed. "Rebecca, what are you doing here? I wanted to see you. We haven't really talked in months. I thought maybe we could, I don't know, catch up?" I didn't invite her in right away. "I'm actually heading out soon." "Oh, where?" "Meeting with a literary agent. They want to discuss a book deal." Her eyes widened. "A book deal? That's incredible." "Yeah, should be interesting. Can I come in for just a few minutes? I really want to talk to you." I stepped aside. She walked in and immediately noticed the changes. New furniture, new TV, new everything. "You redecorated," she said. "Upgraded." She set the coffee and bagels on the counter. "I've been thinking about us a lot," she said. "About what I said. I think I was scared. Scared of uncertainty. But I see now that you were right to believe in yourself. You've built something incredible. Thanks. I miss you. I miss us." I leaned against the counter. "Do you miss me? Or do you miss the idea of being with someone who's successful?" She blinked. "That's not fair, isn't it? For months ago, you told me I was mediocre. You said you couldn't build a life on beer money. You left because you didn't think I had a future. I was wrong. You weren't wrong about what I was making then. You were wrong about what I was capable of. There's a difference." Her face flushed. "I'm trying to apologize. You're trying to get back together with a different version of me. But I'm the same person I was 4 months ago. I just stopped letting your doubts define my ceiling." "That's not true. You've changed. You're more confident, more driven." "I was always driven. You just couldn't see it because I wasn't driven toward what you valued." She looked down at her hands. "Can we start over? Pretend the last few months didn't happen?" "No." "Why not?" "Because they did happen. And they taught me something important." "What?" "That I don't need someone who believes in me only after I've proven myself. I need someone who believes in me when I'm still figuring it out." She stood there silently for a moment. Then she picked up her purse. "I hope you find that person," she said quietly. "I hope so too." She left without the coffee or bagels. I went to my meeting with the literary agent. They offered me a 2-book deal. Advance of $150,000. I signed it a week later. The podcast continued to grow. I started getting invited to larger events. TEDx talks. Industry conferences with 5,000 attendees. My speaking fee went from $2,000 to $10,000. Then from 10 to 25. Month 6, I hit my first $100,000 month. Between the course, the podcast, YouTube ad revenue, Patreon, speaking fees, and sponsorships, I cleared $112,000 in 30 days. I posted about it on LinkedIn. Not to brag, but because I'd built an audience there too, and they'd been following my journey. The post got 400,000 impressions, 2,000 comments. One of those comments was from Rebecca. "So inspiring. Always knew you had it in you." I didn't reply, but I did screenshot it and save it in a folder titled Receipts. A mutual friend reached out to me a week later. "Dude, Rebecca has been talking about you nonstop. She's telling people you two are on a break and that she's waiting for the right time to reconnect." "We're not on a break. We broke up." "Yeah, I figured. Just thought you should know she's spinning it differently." I wasn't surprised. People rewrite history when the original version makes them look bad. I kept building. Launched a mastermind program. 20 people, $10,000 each for 6 months. Sold out in 4 days. Started investing in real estate. Bought a duplex, house hacked it, rented out the other unit. Documented the entire process on YouTube. That series got 3 million views. My subscriber count hit 500,000. Then 750,000. Then 1 million. I got verified on Instagram and Twitter. My follower count across all platforms combined was over 2 million. I was getting recognized in public. People would stop me at coffee shops and ask for photos. It was surreal. I ran into Rebecca at a networking event. She was there with David, the coworker she'd mentioned so many times. They were holding hands. She saw me from across the room and her face went pale. I walked over. "Rebecca, David, good to see you both." David extended his hand. "Hey man, I'm a big fan of your podcast. Listen to it every week." Appreciate that. Rebecca barely made eye contact. I didn't know you'd be here, she said. I'm one of the keynote speakers. Oh, right. Of course. David looked between us. Wait, you two know each other? We used to date, I said casually. His eyebrows shot up. No way. Small world. Very small. Rebecca tugged on David's arm. We should find our seats. Yeah, sure. Great meeting you, man. They walked away. I watched them go. Rebecca glanced back once. I didn't smile. I didn't wave. I just stood there. My keynote speech was about resilience and betting on yourself. I talked about the importance of ignoring people who try to cap your potential. I didn't mention Rebecca by name, but I told the story. The kitchen table, the suitcase, the word mediocre. I told 500 people how someone I loved made me feel small, and how I used that feeling as fuel. The room erupted in applause when I finished. Afterward, dozens of people came up to thank me, to tell me their own stories of being underestimated. Rebecca was nowhere to be seen. I didn't care. I flew to New York a month later for a media tour, appeared on 3 podcasts, 2 news segments, and a morning talk show. The book was set to release in 6 weeks, and the publisher wanted to build momentum. During one of the podcast interviews, the host asked me about relationships. Do you think success changes how people see you romantically? Absolutely, I said. Some people are only attracted to the outcome, not the process. They want the finished product, not the person who's still under construction. Sounds like you're speaking from experience. I am. I was with someone who couldn't see my potential. She left when things were uncertain. Tried to come back when things were stable. But by then, I'd realized I didn't want someone who only showed up for the highlight reel. That's powerful. It taught me that loyalty is measured during the struggle, not after the success. That clip went viral. For million views in 3 days. Rebecca's friends started tagging her in the comments. People who knew our story. She deactivated her Instagram for 2 weeks. When she came back, she'd scrubbed every photo of us from her profile. I didn't reach out. I didn't gloat. I just kept moving forward. The book launched and hit the New York Times bestseller list in week 1. I sold 30,000 copies in the first month. I bought a house. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, in a neighborhood I used to drive through and daydream about. Paid in cash. I posted a photo of the keys on social media with a simple caption. Built on beer money. It got 200,000 likes. Rebecca sent me a DM. Congratulations on everything. You deserve it. I read it. Didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. She'd made her choice. I'd made mine. A year and a half after she walked out, I was earning close to $2 million annually. I had a team of 8 people, a production studio, multiple revenue streams that ran on autopilot. I was dating someone new. Someone who met me when I was still building the second channel. When I was still grinding. She didn't care about the money. She cared about the vision. That's how I knew it was different. I saw Rebecca one last time. At a charity gala. She was there with David. I was there as a donor and guest speaker. She approached me during the cocktail hour. Can we talk? She asked. Sure. We stepped aside. I just want to say I'm sorry. For everything. For not believing in you. For making you feel like you weren't enough. I appreciate that. Do you ever think about what could have been? If I hadn't left? I looked at her. Really looked at her. No, I said honestly. Because if you hadn't left, I wouldn't have become this. I needed to prove something to myself more than I needed to prove it to you. You leaving gave me clarity. She nodded slowly. I hope you're happy. I am. Good. You earned it. She walked back to David. I watched her go for the last time. There was no bitterness. No anger. Just a quiet understanding that some people are only meant to be in your life for a season. Rebecca taught me what I didn't want. She taught me what conditional love looked like. And in doing so, she pushed me to build a life where I never had to shrink myself to fit someone else's vision of success. I gave my speech that night. Talked about resilience, self-belief, and the danger of letting other people's limitations become your own. The applause was deafening. Afterward, a young guy approached me. Mid-20s, nervous energy. Hey man, your story really resonated with me. I'm trying to build something too, but my girlfriend keeps telling me to get a real job. Did you ever doubt yourself? I smiled. Every single day? But doubt is just fear dressed up as logic. Don't let someone else's fear become your ceiling. He thanked me and walked away. I thought about that kitchen table. That Tuesday evening. That suitcase. I thought about how Rebecca's words could have destroyed me. Instead, they rebuilt me. I didn't win because I proved her wrong. I won because I stopped needing her approval to prove myself right. And that made all the difference.